Hello guys, welcome back to your channel Gairi and Silkai. Today we shall be discussing about beta thalassemia, which is one of the most important hemolytic disorder of human body. Beta thalassemia is a genetic disorder which is inherited as an autosomal recessive trait. In this, there is reduced synthesis of beta globin chain of hemoglobin, which is the major oxygen carrying protein in the red blood cells. In beta thalassemia, there is partial or complete deficiency of beta globin chain, which occurs due to a point mutation in which a single nucleotide of a DNA is replaced by another DNA at the beta globin chain of chromosome number 11. These mutations can occur at the promoter sequence sites or at the splicing sequence sites, and these in turn affect the mRNA reading during the process of translation. And this finally results in a reduced beta chain synthesis or no beta chain synthesis in the affected patient. So now we will see how these genes are inherited in different individuals. So let's say that beta codes for normal beta chain synthesis, beta positive for partial beta chain synthesis, and beta naught for no beta chain synthesis. Since it is an autosomal recessive disease, two mutated copies, one from each parent, are prerequisite for this disease. If there is only one defective copy, either a reduced beta chain synthesis or of no beta chain synthesis, it is known as beta thalassemia minor. If the person has two mutated genes which code for reduced beta chain synthesis, then they are said to have beta thalassemia intermedia. And if the person has two butanate mutations, then no globin chain synthesis occurs, and this is known as beta thalassemia major. When there is a reduced beta chain synthesis in the body, the free alpha chains accumulate within the RBC and form inclusions. These inclusions damages the RBC membrane, and this leads to excessive hemolysis, which causes the free hemoglobin to enter directly into the plasma, where the heme is recycled back into the unconjugated bilirubin and iron. This increased unconjugated bilirubin can manifest as jaundice, and overaccumulation of iron can cause secondary hemochromatosis. This hemolysis can also cause hypoxia, as there are less RBC present to carry oxygen to tissues and organs. This hypoxia signals the bone marrow to increase RBC production, whereas the extramedullary hemoptysis from the sites such as liver and spleen is also enhanced. And this excessive RBC production causes enlargement of bone marrow containing bones of skull and face. It also causes hepatosplenomegaly. The symptoms of beta thalassemia major develop in first 3 to 6 months of life after birth. Patient presents anemic symptoms such as pallor, fatigue, or shortness of breath. The hepatosplenomegaly is also seen, which may cause the abdomen to swell up. Jaundice is manifestation of increased unconjugated bilirubin. And chipmunk faces is a common manifestation you see in a beta thalassemia patient. As you can see, there is enlargement in the forehead and the cheekbones. On observing the skull X-ray, you will find a translucent bone marrow over the skull bone with fine hair-like projections, and you can correlate it with the goosebumps which makes the hair on your arms to rise, and because of which it is known as hair on an appearance of bone marrow over the skull bone. Growth of a child may also be retarded due to beta thalassemia, and hemochromatosis may cause complications such as arrhythmias, cirrhosis, or diabetes mellitus. You can diagnose a beta thalassemia patient by routine blood checkups which shows a reduced hemoglobin concentration which is less than 6 gram per deciliter in case of beta thalassemia major. The mean corpuscular volume, mean corpuscular hemoglobin, and the mean corpuscular hemoglobin concentration all are reduced. The red cell distribution width is increased as various sizes of RBC are present within the body. The iron parameters such as serum iron, serum ferritin, and the transferrin iron binding capacities are increased as excessive iron accumulates within the body. On observing the peripheral blood smear of a thalassemia patient, you find microcytic and hypochromic RBC within the smear. They also exhibit poikilocytosis. Target cells are present within the smear, and you also observe basophilic stippling. The diagnosis is confirmed by hemoglobin electrophoresis, which shows decreased level of hemoglobin A and enhanced levels of hemoglobin F and hemoglobin A2, which can be seen in this. And the quantitative analysis of these hemoglobin levels can be done by high performance liquid chromatography, which shows reduced levels of hemoglobin A and increase in levels of hemoglobin F and hemoglobin A2. The alpha is to beta ratio in normal person is 1 is to 1, whereas in case of thalassemia it is 1 is to 30. Now, in order to treat beta thalassemia, we do periodic blood transfusions in order to correct anemic symptoms. However, these regular transfusions may cause iron overload, which can be treated by using various iron chelating agents such as desferoxamine. Splenectomy can also be done if the enlarged spleen causes extra hemolysis. So that's all for today, guys. Hit the like and subscribe button, post your queries in the comment section, and stay tuned for the journey of advanced cognition.